This podcast is a part of the Podmania Podcasting Network. Check out podmania.co.uk to check out more of our great podcasts, features, reviews, match ratings and previews spanning the crazy and diverse world of professional wrestling. Hello guys, and welcome to the Stardom Cast, your weekly or sort of audio source for all things world-wondering Stardom right here on the Podmania Podcasting Network. I'm your host, Rob Goodwin, and I am joined, as ever, by Reggae Jesus himself, Chris O'Brien. Chris O'Brien, how the devil are you?
Kicking it old school, you're kicking it back to when we used to do NXT UK with that one.
I know. I don't know what it was. I was lying in the bath. And
thinking about Chris.
I was like in the bath thinking about Chris. No,
Lefty starts to wonder.
I was looking at something on Facebook, and there was a picture of Jesus wearing some sort of reggae hat, and it just made me think of you, man. Just take it as a compliment.
Well, I've concluded this week, Rob, that you don't have a heart.
That I don't have a heart. Okay.
Yes.
I see where this is going. Go on.
You don't like so many things that are just so wonderful and beautiful. You don't like Greatest Showman, which I'm quite sus about. You don't like La La Land, and that it is a beautiful film. It's objectively a beautiful film. You don't like Scott Pilgrim. How can you not like Scott Pilgrim?
Right, you've thrown a lot of things at me there. Just let's do one at a time. So, I don't like Greatest Showman. I think I've made my opinion and my reasons very, very clear on this podcast over the last couple of weeks as to why I don't like The Greatest Showman. I'm not a big one for musicals. I find them extremely cheesy. I find them extremely forced, and I don't
You're
connect with them.
You're a wrestling fan.
And when wrestlers burst into song on a regular basis in the middle of emotional moments, then maybe I'll start watching wrestling.
That would be amazing, actually.
Yeah, the moment Mayu and Tam start tap dancing down the Los Angeles roads, then maybe I'll stop watching Stardom. Are you thinking about that now?
I want that so badly.
So that's why I don't like that. And what was the other one you were? Oh, Scott Pilgrim. I don't know. I didn't really like Scott Pilgrim before the film came out, and then the film came out. I didn't really like it. Am I too old for it? Fuck you. That took ages to register. Then it's been a long fucking week. Jesus.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. It's been a long week, man. It's been a long week. How are you, anyway?
I'm fine. Been in my Christmas mood. Like, I don't watch Christmas movies until like the 12 Days of Christmas, which was recently. I watched Love Actually, which was beautiful, and I loved it. I watched what's the other one? Oh, Bumper Christmas Carol, an essential Christmas movie. Watch it every Christmas.
Absolutely, Christmas staple in the Goodwin household.
Garth jumped into Attack It the other day. That wasn't fun. There's one more Christmas movie I watched, and it was I know what it was. It was the Kurt Russell one on Netflix. I watched that with my nieces.
The Kurt Russell one? Oh, the Christmas Chronicles.
Yeah, which is actually surprisingly, like, with Kurt Russell, it's always going to be entertaining because it's him. But like, it's not. It's like Arnold Schwarzenegger, where you're always going to be entertained, but it's not always going to be good. But it's actually quite good.
We obviously it's the last week in school before Christmas, and it's sort of especially now, getting later on towards, I say later on, it's a Tuesday as we're recording this, but later on through the week, we're sort of winding down, and we're watching Christmas films and stuff like that, and we put it to a vote because we got Mr. Goodwin's Netflix up, and we selected 5 Christmas films, and every year, Chris, without fucking fail, we end up watching Nativity. And
I've never actually seen Nativity.
I wouldn't bother.
Isn't David Tennant in it?
No, David Tennant's in the second one, which is somehow worse than the first one.
David Tennant in it?
Despite its inherent tenetness, it's still worse. But this year, I thought, you know what? I've got quite a mature class. You know, they aren't going to want to watch Nativity. And actually, I sort of started sounding some of my kids out about. I was like, you don't want to watch fucking Nativity, do you? And they were like, no, it's so good. And why would we want to watch that? No, of course we don't. I was like, get in. So we did the vote. Muppets Christmas Carol. Got a couple of votes. I was like, I'm quietly confident here. The Grinch with Benedict Cumberbatch in. Got a couple of votes. And I was like, come on, get in. Nativity comes up. Every fucker's hand shoots up. I was like, not again!
You little cunt!
You lied to me! So there I am, watching that goddamn film again for what feels like the 20th time. And it's just... It's one of those that you can't hate, no matter how shit the film is, how shit the acting is, how shit the premise is, and how much you really want to hate it and how much you don't want to watch it. You end up watching it and you end up engaged in the film, even though you know what happens because you've seen it 18 fucking times.
It's like when you're babysitting and there's a kid show on and you accidentally end up fairly invested in what's happening and then the kids walked off and you haven't noticed.
I went to my mate's house in Gloucestershire, which for our American audiences is sort of downwards from Stoke, because like the American audience are going to know where fucking Stoke is.
Yeah, it's like
it's just to a point. It is the number one infected area in England with coronavirus. So woohoo, go us!
We just went back into tier 3. That's fun.
Yeah, we find out if we've come out of tier 3 tomorrow, and there is absolutely not a jot of hope that we are out of it. Anyway, so I went to go see my friend in Gloucestershire, and he's got 2 children, one of whom appears to be allergic to absolutely everything, and then I think she was 2 at the time, and we were sat in his living room, and Shaun the Sheep was on. Now, bearing in mind that a large majority of Shaun the Sheep is silent, because Shaun the Sheep is a sheep, and sheep can't talk. Even in that cartoon universe, sheep can't talk. So I found myself, after about 15 episodes of this, I found myself ignoring my friend to watch Shaun the Sheep with his 2 very young children. You just can't help it. You get so invested in the storylines. You know, the plot thickens. Oh my God, what if that sheep is doing something with this sheep? What if that's an evil sheep? None of it's true, of course. It's a children's program, but even so.
Have I ever told you about the time I ended up watching a Christmas movie in March in school?
Right.
Because the teacher came in really hungover. And he was CDT teacher, which of course means like being in a workshop, and he couldn't handle the sound of mallets. And our school literally only had like between like 5 and 10 DVDs among all departments that weren't education related. So he just got the one that was in the department, which was Scrooged, and put it on.
Outstanding.
And told us not to tell anyone.
It was the sound of mallets.
We should probably get into Stardom now.
Well, the reason we are riffing so much is because we are going to talk through 4 shows today. Not all the matches. We're not that mental, but we are looking.
In my case, a majority of the matches I did end up watching most of them.
Yeah. We're talking about the shows from the 28th in Mutsu, the 29th in Morioka. Morioka? Mario Kart. You know when your mind goes back, it's Morioka. I don't know why I died myself. From the 6th in Toyama and the 13th as well. We're going to talk about all of those shows, but before we do, just a quick question, Chris.
Oh.
This was posted all over Twitter, and it was in our Discord as well, that Tokyo Sports have produced their awards for this year. And the one that really stood out to us, obviously, because we do a Stardom podcast, was that Julia had won the Woman of the Year award in the Tokyo Sports Awards. And I just wanted to ask your opinion on that, Chris, to be honest.
Well, if it's a very political award thing, like didn't Okada and Sanada win it last year, which is like obviously just not shouldn't be who won it. So it's sort of like PWI where it comes out and everyone, like, despite knowing it's a political thing, despite knowing that some money for advertising may be involved, everyone just sort of bitches about it anyway, which is kind of what happened in our Discord, except we mostly agreed. But with Julia, if I was giving out the award, it would probably go to Mayu. But honestly, Julia is a decent enough pick, especially for how much she's improved over the past year, where she's went from me not being able to stand her to being someone I actually enjoy watching. So it's not the worst pick, quite frankly. Like, it's not even the worst pick on the list, to be honest, because like Tetsuya Endo won Technique, and I love Tetsuya Endo, but I wouldn't have him as Technique.
No, I agree with you on both counts. It's not an egregious decision to give Julia the award, and it certainly hasn't upset me. Like you said, she's come on tremendously. If this was an award given out in June, then I think this is a completely different story, and I think a lot more people will be upset, but she's come on tremendously. Her promo, and we will get into the promo she cuts at the end of Road to Osaka Dream, has become 10 times, 15 times better than they were. Her in-ring stuff is far better, even though, let's face it, in-ring stuff was never particularly bad. But I do think if you give it to anyone out of Stardom, for the year she's had, you can't look past Mayu. She's put on match of the year, candidates every time she's defended the red belt. She's elevated everyone that she has been in the ring with. I mean, she gave Death Yamasan her best 5-star match by a country mile, actually managing to perform that elusive comedy match that so many people managed to miss the mark on. So I think she did deserve it, but again, it's a political award. I'm not particularly bothered. I was just intrigued to see what you thought and if we were along the same line, which we were. So let's get into some of these shows then. So we'll start then with the 28th of November from Mutsu, the Maida Arena, in front of 561 people. I know that, Chris, you've got a couple of notes for the first two matches. I'll just read out the first three matches. So we'll just read out the results and then you can sort of summarise all of those afterwards. We opened with Maika defeating Ruaka in 4 minutes and 13 seconds. Natsupoi then defeated Saki Kashima in 6 minutes and 41 seconds. And then in the third match, Momo Watanabe defeated Mina Shirakawa in 10 minutes and 23 seconds. Chris, anything to say about those three matches?
Well, in the case of Natsupoi and Saki Kashima, this is going to sound weird, but it's kind of disappointed me because I thought this would be a nice little trial run for seeing what Saki's like in the high-speed division, because Oedetai don't really have a high-speed champion, and whenever they're having like a fast start in a tag match, they tend to turn to Saki, so I thought that could be a good place for her. But she kind of kept slowing it down, and it makes sense. It was more my own expectations. The first thing I noticed, though, was how very not socially distanced this audience was.
You did send me a picture, and I must admit, I watched this show quite a long time ago now, and I hadn't noticed it, and I went back to watch the Cosmic Angels match, and once you pointed it out, I was like, Jesus Christ, they really aren't like that far away at all.
And half of them aren't wearing their fucking mask properly. Like, half of them have their nose up, and mask is like, that's not. You're gonna make someone sick, you cunt. But yeah, this match was fun though. Like, Natsupoi just always makes me like. She's just great. I'm just really looking forward to her Azumi match, which probably isn't going to be until like end year climax. No, not even end year climax. It's going to be probably anniversary. But oh well. And then the Momo and Shirakawa match. I did enjoy it. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. Like when was the last Shirakawa singles match? Was it Tam?
Mina's?
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
she took on Lady C.
Oh, okay. Well, this is her highest profile singles match since Tam, I'll say.
Yeah.
And unlike the Tam match where like both of us were like actually like, was this a good idea for signing? Mina didn't seem out of place. Like she wasn't on Momo's level, obviously, but like the improvement between the Tam match and this match in terms of singles chops, can't fault her. She is getting a lot better. She's throwing the back fist last, which is probably the best decision she's ever made. So yeah,
you and that fucking hatred of that move.
But because I love a good back fist, right? Like Kenta Kobashi, Eddie Kingston, a third person, Aja Kong. There we go. There's a name. I love a good back fist, and Mina Shirakawa's wasn't a good back fist, so
it's not.
Drop it.
Let's move on then. Match 4, tag team action. So the Cosmic Angels team of Tam Nakano and Unagi defeat Saya Iida and Riho at 10 minutes and 28 seconds with the Tiger Suplex. Cosmic Angels promo, man. Jesus fucking Christ.
I don't hate them. I'm slightly confused by them half the time, but you know, I do enjoy them on a like weird level. Like I'm someone who watches kaiju big battle sometimes, so like I'm into the weirder stuff. So I just kind of like the fact that they're clearly like, you know, going backstage, smoking some of the good green. You know, I obviously don't take drugs. Listen to me, but yeah, just I like the vibe, Rob. I'm into the vibe.
I don't get it at all, man. I'll be honest, and
too old for it.
I don't. There's something not clicking for me, and I must admit, post 13th of December show, there's a little bit more clarity about Tam's actions, but as a team, I don't understand what their goals are. Like, they just cut the same weird space shuttle promo that doesn't really make any fucking sense. Like, at all. I mean, Tam's always been a fairly strange promo anyway, but this is just next level shit. And once they add Mina doing, which, by the way, her English, tremendous. So, absolute props there. And I know she can speak English quite well, someone in the Discord was telling me, but now that you've added that bit about I am your cabin girl, please put your seatbelts on, and the fact they transitioned from the word seatbelt into title belt, I don't get them. I don't understand it. I don't particularly like them. And I know that we are supposed to see them as faces, but I just find them so bizarre and out there. And I think it is because I'm so confused over what their actual motivations are as a team. I don't get it. Unagi is fine, and that is something that I'm going to be saying a lot during this podcast. I don't want to rag on Unagi, but I'm going to. I mean, she notes in her promo that there was only 10 days between her debut and Saya Iida's. And I know you can't really compare the two because you've got Unagi, who debuted in Tokyo Joshi Pro, and it's a completely different system to Saya Iida and the way Stardom run things with their children and rookies. But you compare Saya Iida in this match to Unagi in this match, it's night and day. And I'm going to say now, over these 4 shows, my MVP of these 4 shows is Saya Iida. Just in these 4 shows, I think she's come on tremendously. She's evolving, changing her move setup, whereas you've got Unagi, who quite noticeably gets lost in the middle of the ring, is looking for cues from Tam and, more worryingly, Mina. She still has such a bland moveset. Like, her impact moves are a shoulder tackle and a leg drop, and whilst a shoulder tackle can be seen as an impact move with someone like Himika, for example, who uses it quite a lot, Himika does it with such a snap and such venom that you can believe it, whereas Unagi seems to go through the motions with it. There doesn't seem to be any snap or any venom. And even, again, I know I'm bouncing quite a lot, but in the Star Wars match on the 13th, even then, when there was such venom being thrown around, and I think Unagi was trying to start something with Starlight Kid, she just seemed to be there and didn't seem to be asserting herself. And I think that's a big problem for me, personally. What about you?
In the case of Unagi, I'm less militantly but I'm less I can't find the right word, but I don't hate her as much as you do. And I think I'll give it some leeway because, like you said, the different systems, you saw how much we ragged on, say, Shiakawa when she came in, and then we gave her a tag league. Which is a lot of matches very close together to find her steps. Unagi's not really had that, and beyond that, she's also being put in a position a bit above her station through necessity for the sake of the civil war between stars. So, honestly, I understand your criticisms, but I'm trying to be nice to her just because of her experience. Because, again, it's like comparing someone who's been trained in a random school in Britain here to, say, Yotsuji in New Japan. They're two different systems who are going to train you completely differently.
I understand that. And again, I want to stress, I don't hate Unagi. I don't hate her. I find her bland. And I'm completely apathetic towards her, which are two very different things. My problem is that even by now, despite the start that Mina had, we always spoke about how Mina there was something being developed, okay, in the next stage going forward. And I know she's had a lot, not even a lot more matches. She didn't have a lot of matches in Tag League. She had 5, I think? 6, maybe?
Yeah.
But Mina came in with a moveset. And I'm still yet to see, short of the gory bomb, which she does. Well, it's not gory bomb, is it? It's called something else, which I'll have a look at in a minute. That's all she's got. Otherwise, it's strikes. That's it. And the spine buster, which she completely ballsed up on one of the nights. I'm yet to see anything. Whereas there was something with Mina, she was great at selling. She got no offense. There was distinct offense, but it wasn't very good. Whereas Unagi is an okay seller. She's okay at being the babyface in peril, but she has got nothing offensively. And in that match with Sayarida, Starlight Kid, Mayu, Mina, and Tam, she looked completely out of her depth. And I do agree with you. I think she is being put into a position above where she feels comfortable. And I think she's been used far more in this sort of situation than she was in Tokyo Joshi Pro. But there has got to be a little bit of development. And I haven't seen that yet. I've seen no development whatsoever. And from, I don't know, there'll be chat of me talking about this all the way through the podcast, so I'm not going to do it all now. This match was fine. I am completely behind Cosmic Angels using the 3D. I think it looked really, really good, so keep using that, for God's sake. But otherwise, it's a pretty clean-cut match. There's nothing really to talk about, apart from Tam trying to poach Sayarida at the end. Is there anything you want to add to that, Chris?
Yeah, I think to say about Rhea, but that really comes more down to night 3 than this night. Needless to say, I'm not a massive fan at this point. Again, Sayarida's coming out like a fucking pocket rocket nowadays.
Oh, she's great. She is great.
Yeah, the machine gun chops, they weren't great during the 5-star, but they have gotten a fair bit better.
She's got, I don't know what it is, there's a real fire underneath Sayarida at the moment. And whereas before the chops, they were there and they looked relatively painful, but, there was something missing. There's that fire and that drive now as well. And like I said before, she was playing to the audience and things like that. So that's changed. It could just be a confidence thing.
Yeah, probably, because it must be weird suddenly going from like training in a dojo to wrestling in front of an audience and then wrestling in front of no audience and then an audience again.
Yeah, absolutely. And considering she wasn't supposed to be in the 5-star either. She replaced Saki.
Mm-hmm.
So that might have played into it. What do you think about this whole who's going to get Sayarida in the divorce gimmick?
I'm into it. I like seeing broken homes. So
Whoa!
So yeah, it's a storyline that I enjoy it because Christ, I'm trying to remember what other breakup storyline had. Oh, it was the Bullet Club one from 2018. Like who's going to get Ishimori in the divorce? That was a fun one.
Yeah.
So like, would someone give Chase Owens a home? So yeah, I do enjoy that. And that sort of played into what's happening pretty soon. A match that's happening pretty soon, which I'm actually pretty excited about because of a tweet May put out.
I mean, it's added a really good wrinkle to this story, and despite me talking about Unagi like I was for about 15 minutes apparently before this match, I am really, really, really into this Stars storyline, especially after the tail end of that Road to show. I can't imagine Sayarida doing all that cutest in the cosmos shit. When you think about her gimmick as Gorilla Power, I don't really imagine that Sayarida doing that whole delicious bit. Do you?
You know what I'd love? If they decided, right, Cosmic Angel can have Sayarida, and then she walked over and they were like, "No, you're too short to write."
Bless her. I think she would stick out because Tam's pretty short.
Tam's short, but like it's almost like she's the like the little rascals have the smallest ones always for.
Yeah, I get that.
Always the aggressor.
This match was fine. I gave it 6, Chris.
Yeah, I gave it high 5 or 6. It was fine.
Match 5 then. Mayu and Starlight Kid defeated Bea Priestley and Natsuko Tora at 12 minutes and 38 via DQ. This was the I know. This was the match we talked about last episode that drew the ire of quite a few Japanese Twitter users who were talking about the way Oedo Tai have been booked recently, and this sort of epitomised it.
It's drawn the ire of Chris.
It's drawn the ire of Chris. I mean, I'm not going to rant about Oedo Tai. I think we've done that now.
I want it because, like, what's their end goal? Like, what does this achieve? Because, like, I get part of Oedo Tai is, we want to disrupt the status quo or fucking whatever. But, like, how does this do that? You can't, like, if this was an actual, like, fighting league, they would have been fired ages ago for the chain. And just one day they're going to have to go for a title, and they're not going to have naturally, like, especially in Tora's case, she's not going to have naturally earned it. I'll just see if again, we had like I'm pretty sure that rant went on like 15 minutes last week. So I don't want to make a big thing out of it, but the worst thing a wrestler or a team can do is make me feel like I've wasted my time. Because like the stuff before the DQ was actually not too bad. Like, again, there's something there with Tora. There's a reason why it took me so long to give up on her. But she never showed... Like, I get part of its booking, but there's better ways to do shit like this. Because it's for chain every fucking time. And it's ruined so many good matches, and I'm just done with it. Like, I always, like, if I wasn't doing a podcast, I probably would just skip Oedo Tai matches, because every time I watch one, they're not long, they're not like 10 minutes long, but I feel like I've waited those 10 minutes, and I could have done so much with that 10 minutes. I could have told someone I love them, who I never tell I love them, because life is short and we're all going to die one day. I could think a lot. I normally think during Oedo Tai matches, actually. Yeah, just fuck Oedo Tai matches.
I agree on every count. I mean, the only reason I'm not moaning about it is because I moaned about it all last week. I'm not going to moan about it again. There were some good things in this match. Everything before those two fucking chain spots were great. Mayu's suicide dive is a thing of beauty. I think it's probably only beaten out for me by Ryu Lee's. I think Tora's spear is superb. Starlight Kid changing direction for that frog splash just looks so clean and so crisp. It looks incredible. But you're right, it's not heel heat. It's just, I want to skip your match because you're boring and it's a bit predictable. And I think if you want to disrupt the status quo, which has, always been the sort of moniker of a Oedo Tai, or at least it has been since I've been watching, surely doing the same thing over and over again is completely counterproductive. But as this annoys me more in a different match than it does in this match, let's move on. I did give this benefit of the doubt. I gave it 6 just because it was in danger of becoming a very, very, very good match before all the bollocks.
In danger, like Oedo Tai is really scared of high quality.
Well, that seems to be the problem at the moment. Let's move on then. Match number 6 in the main event of this show was a 6-woman tag DDM team of Julia Himeka and Syuri defeating Queen's Quest, Utami Azumi and Sayaka Matani at 60 minutes and 24 seconds with the buzzsaw kick. There was a really lovely visual at the start of this match. I don't know if you caught it, Chris, but it was Momo having to hold the ropes for Utami as she brought the flag into the ring. And I know that, it's a very simple thing, and I know that Momo had a match earlier, but what a lovely visual. The challenger, the leader of Queen's Quest, having been offered a title shot by her stablemate, not earned, having to hold the ring ropes as the person who's got the red belt before her enters the ring holding the flag of their stable. I just thought that was a really, really lovely visual to start this match.
Yeah, it was just, it was like, have you ever, this is going to be like a weirdly specific reference, but Vengeance 2004, there was a visual of like Randy Orton behind, like in silhouette when Triple H was doing his entrance. It was a bit like that.
It's a lovely little bit of foreshadowing, and I just love shit like that. I love little touches like that. It was great. Yeah, this was a fun little main event, even if it did contain Utami dropping Julia on her fucking head, which was terrifying.
Right on her head. Like, there's someone in our Discord who really doesn't like B. Priestley, and she was talking about B's botch. I'm like, didn't you see Julia getting dropped in her head? Like, props to Julia, though. She didn't miss a beat after that.
She really didn't. She bounced back up, didn't she?
Yeah, it was just, she sort of like just managed to roll through it and just continue onto another spot, because there's no way there was going to be a spot planned after that. It was going to be like a big backdrop spot, but she was just dropped halfway through. I'm very curious about how the botch happened, because like normally you just drop with her, wouldn't you? So what
I don't know. It was for so Julia's on the apron, and Utami is attempting to back suplex her back into the ring, isn't she? And I don't know if she just doesn't get the right amount of leverage, but I don't know if it's the fact that leaning over the top rope, you can't get the purchase you need, maybe? I don't know. Maybe it's angles. Maybe she just slipped. I don't know. Yeah. It looked a dangerous spot beforehand.
It's not... It's weird for that, because she's not botchy, is she? Like, not at all.
If she is, it's been very, very small up to now.
Yeah. Apart from like when in the recent match where that seems to be the whole point. But yeah, so I don't know. It's like, it's not a black mark. Like, honestly, the only thing you can really take out of it, apart from yay, no one died, is Julia's really good in a crisis.
Absolutely. Calming influence, mate.
Yeah, because she managed to like just call a different spot, because again, both people would have been down. So she managed to just call a lariat, and the match continued how it was. Like, it's better than like the Walter idea of fixing a match, which is just chop you harder until you fall over.
There was quite an extended Julia and Utami sequence in this match. And obviously, I can't imagine we are long before Julia is in that red belt scene. And you imagine that as the DDM and Queen's Quest storylines are so interlinked, especially in the lead up to Osaka Dream, I can't help feeling that Julia being a red belt challenger is very, very close on the horizon. Are you excited at the thought of a possible Utami and Julia program?
Have they faced before? I distinctly remember that being a match. It wasn't even 5-star. Was it in Cinderella? Did they face in Cinderella? No, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
I swear to God, I can remember them facing at some point. I just can't remember when.
It would have been early on then.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just like misremembering a tag match. But yeah, I think it would be a decent enough program. Yeah, I'm not against it. I'm not like particularly hype for it yet, but like that's not because I haven't seen what Utami's going to be like at champion. So like I can't really gauge what programs will and won't work. So I'm not against it. It's not like I'm hearing it and going, fuck this, I'm out. But it should be fine.
It's not Tora challenging, is what you're saying.
Yeah. No, basically what I'm thinking, it's like when you hear, like, you know, when you hear the new Planet of the Apes movie coming out, it's like, well, I'm not going to hate it.
I'll watch it, not sure.
But like, I'll watch it and I'll probably enjoy it. I'm not going to think about it much when it's over. Well, I have a podcast. But after that,
it's Saya's birthday, and we celebrate this by her being fucking murdered in the lead up to the finishing buzzsaw kick. They hit that poor girl with fucking everything before the end of this match. They absolutely destroyed her.
You're not going to sell? Well, we're going to force you to sell.
I love the fact that they're keeping Shiori so strong in this match.
Do you have birthday dumps down in England?
We have birthday beats.
Which is probably the same thing. We hit someone for the amount of time they've been alive.
Yeah, which is why, that's the kind of culture we live in nowadays. It's your birthday. Well, I'm going to beat you up for being born on this day.
Nowadays, that's been every birthday for the past 15 years. And the only reason it wasn't before that is because it's poor form to hit a child.
Where were you going with that? Just wanting to know if there was birthday beats and you wondering if that's what Saya was getting?
Yeah, that's literally it. It's like, is that just what's happening, except replace punches with signature moves?
It was like Shiori had stored up all her finishers on Here Comes the Pain and just used them in one horrible volley of moves. It was like oh my God.
It's like in Fire Pro where you're against an AI who just won't stay down.
Exactly. I gave it 6. It was a fine main event. You know, it was there. You'll hear us saying this a lot, especially in the first 3 of these shows. They are effectively glorified house shows. So aside from the stars stuff, not a lot happens.
I enjoyed the dynamics of this match, like how Shiri was like the default high-speed worker with Azumi because Himiko and Julia are the size they are. And therefore you had a pretty obvious like hot tag dynamic, which ended up being really fun. Saya is just getting better every match. She's one of those people who just keep getting better. She just needs to learn to sell the leg, but no one's targeting the leg anymore. So apparently everyone else has been forced to learn their lesson, but not her.
Everyone got the memo. Just don't target her legs, guys. Just leave it, okay?
She's like one person in the class who's allergic to peanuts and therefore ruins it for everyone.
I must admit, she's in our Stardom End of Year Awards. I'd be amazed if Saya Kamatani doesn't get it. I imagine it'll be between Saya Kamatani and Starlight Kid. But Saya, from where she was, and we've talked about this before, but where she was, even from when we went into lockdown and Stardom stopped putting out live content, to where she is now, is just tremendous. And yes, there's still a slight anomaly in her selling, but I haven't noticed, and you know how much I hate lack of selling, and I haven't noticed it in weeks and weeks and weeks. So yeah, for me, she's improved hugely. What did you give it?
I'm feeling a high 6, low 7.
Yeah, completely in agreement. Let's move on to the 29th show then from Morioka, or as I called it earlier, Mario Cox. I can't fucking read without my glasses on. And this is in front of 466 people in the Morioka Gymnasium. Chris, I'll just fire through these first two matches and then you can do what you did before and summarise any thoughts you've got about them. We started with match 1, Riho defeating Ruaka in 5 minutes and 12 seconds, and then B. Priestley defeating Saya Kamatani in 7 minutes and 20 seconds. What were your overall thoughts on these first two singles matches?
I skipped the first one, but the second one, it was fine for what it was. There's not a ton you can do where 7 minutes, but B and Saya work fairly well together. To be fair, the two people who are mostly there for the moves and nothing else, so
yeah,
they work well with each other in that respect. B keeps doing the cheeky Nando's kick, which I know she did it before, but now it's somehow more egregious. And I just find it, like the cheeky Nando's kick as a move. It's just a move I hate because there's I've seen it be transitioned into naturally. I can probably count it on one hand, and I've seen Will Ospreay in like 10 different promotions.
It's a pretty contrived move. Let's be perfectly honest.
Yeah, and I hate it because it does it's like all the stereotypes of this kind of wrestling put into one move. It's really contrived as a super kick. So I don't know why it's endured this long. I think it because even cheeky Nando's. Let's just go over everyone's head who doesn't live in Britain.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Are there even Nando's in America?
Surely.
Nando's America. There is...
I cannot believe you're fucking Googling this now.
Right. Nando's locations. Here we go. Find.
This
Washington.
Is certainly the high quality content that people tune into the Stardom cast for. Us Googling locations of local fucking Nando's.
They're in Washington, but do they have them in Tokyo? They do not. Internal server error. So I'm going to take back the no, we do not.
You broke Google in your search for a Japanese Nando's.
No, I was the Nando's site. I'm going Nando's Japan. Well, there's a Japanese Nando's account, so
I imagine there probably is.
Yeah. Imagine if, for some reason, I imagine now I go to Japan and I'm just like, oh man, I don't know what to eat. Nando's, I'm home.
Match 3 then was a 6-woman tag with the Cosmic Angels defeating Mai Himipoi at 13 minutes and 15 seconds with the Tiger Suplex. That's what they referred to themselves as.
Oh, you actually? I thought that was just lag. I thought that was lag.
No, Mai Himipoi was what they called themselves in the pre-match promo. I wish I'd just taken credit for it now.
That's quite the name. To be fair, we seem to have in just our personal chat, we seem to have a weird in-joke for everyone. Every time Unagi's mentioned, the Ross gif.
Yep. Unagi.
From Friends. Unagi. Yeah, I've nothing to say about this match. Apart from, I'm Natsupoi slowly I want to see her in loads of singles matches just because of how fast she fucking moves.
She's unreal. She's so quick.
It's like Sonic the Hedgehog on cocaine. It's amazing.
That is a game I would love to play. Whacked out Sonic.
Hey kids, drugs are fun. Have you ever seen the PSA from the Sonic cartoon of him telling kids not to let people inappropriately touch him?
No, what the fuck?
Yeah, so at the end of the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, we had PSAs, and normally it's don't do drugs, don't all that. And then there's one is if someone touched you in a place where you do not want to be touched, you should say no. And I'm
what the fuck?
Yeah, because my friend just sent me it one day, and I'm like, there's no way this is real. I'm like, he's like, no, seriously, it's real. I'm like, holy shit, that's actually a thing that happened.
That's unreal. Fucking ridiculous. Yeah, I haven't got a lot to say about this match myself, to be perfectly honest. The crowd in Morioka did not react to Mina or Unagi at all. There was nothing. There was no reaction to their offense or anything. And I was just wondering if they were a quiet crowd. And I don't think they were the loudest crowd, but it was noticeable that there was no reaction. Unagi has usurped Mina as the faction punching bag, which suits her, as she still only has a spine buster as something that's even close to an interesting move. I think the problem is, as well, the promos where they just ramble about space. It's so hard for a crowd to invest in what they're saying because what they're saying doesn't make sense.
I imagine just one day out of nowhere, Aerostar is just going to be behind them. And then it's just going to slowly build up with random space-themed wrestlers.
The thing is, they started with this space thing, then went into the seatbelt thing, and then transitioned into going for the Artists of Stardom belts. But because they'd gone all around the fucking weekend trying to transition into we're going for the Artist of Stardom title, people had just lost what the fuck they were talking about. And there was, again, little to no reaction. And, you're trying to build a faction or a unit. You want people to get behind them, but how can you get behind them when you haven't got a fucking clue what they are talking about?
One day, I'm going to, have my niece drink a whole lot of Coke, as in Coca-Cola. I'm not a monster. Sit
I
down,
love the fact you felt the need to clarify that.
Sit her down, show her Cosmic Angels promo, and I'm sure she'll be able to salvage what they mean.
We'll get her on. We'll get her on as a guest and get her to translate what the fuck Tam Nakano was on about.
Nah, she'd love that. Every time she sees my microphone, she's like, "Do you have a YouTube channel?" I'm like, "No." Stop asking.
I gave this 5, like you said, absolutely nothing to talk about. It wasn't egregious in any way, but even so, just nothing really to talk about.
Yeah, basically. I didn't even come up with... To be fair, I've ran out of Greatest Showman references for Nat Support, so I'm going to have to find a new
reference.
Yeah, I'm going to have to find a new member of the roster and link them to a movie somehow. I'll work on that as we go through.
Thank you. Match 4 then, tag team action. So the DDM team of Julia and Shiori defeat Devil Duo, Natsuko Tora and Saki Kashima at 13 minutes and 30 seconds with the Blue Dragon. I don't give a shit what people say. Saki continues to impress as the better of the two in ring because she's actually found a character, a sneaky chicken shit heel, and she plays it great. But not only is she sneaky chicken shit heel, she's someone who can actually work in ring. And over these next 3 matches, she is easily the standout. Easily the standout. When she is taking part, she blows Natsuko Tora out the water. She's quick in ring, she's solid in ring, and she has got a defined character. What is Tora's character, Chris? Don't say S&M enthusiast.
I was never going to say. She really likes...
Go on.
Fleetwood Mac.
I knew you were going to say that. You say that every time!
But it's only so many chain jokes. But she has been doing this for 4 months. There are only so many jokes about chains. Name one chain joke we have not covered.
Do you know what? We'll come together at the start of the next podcast and we'll compare notes. But honestly, she's just... Saki genuinely is the most entertaining thing of this pairing, certainly. And I find her more interesting than B. I can't lie. This was fine. Shiori was built like a fucking behemoth again. And that face she pulls when she's locking in that Blue Dragon submission, because the Blue Dragon looks horrendous anyway. It looks like it legitimately hurts. So to have that coupled with the face of an absolute psychopath locking it in, someone who talks quite, happily and bouncily during promos, she comes across as quite amiable and quite nice, and then she gets into the ring and she is absolutely fucking terrifying. So to have her pull this horrendous face as she's looking in this horrendous move onto poor Saki Kashima, who bends so well. She takes it so well, that move. I thought they did a brilliant job, and I think they've done... It's one of the best things over this Road to sort of run, is that they have continued to build Shiori as a legitimate threat. And it just sort of reinforces what we've been saying, that certainly in my opinion, Donna Del Mondo have been Faction of the Year, because they've just been booked so well all 4 of them, and I know Natsupoi is a member, but she hasn't competed enough for her to be classed in this, so please don't come at me and tell me that Natsupoi is a member. I know Natsupoi is a member, but those 4 main members, they've been booked so well, they are so strong that you can see all 4 of them legitimately winning any match.
Yeah, what I'll say about this match, and it's a weird thing I found where when they're paired off in singles angles, even within tag matches, DDM and Oedo Tai work together well. But when they have to produce like tag team sequences, they don't work together well.
It breaks down a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, and Oedo Tai, it's not like Oedo Tai can't do tag wrestling. We saw that the night before this. So I'm not quite sure what it is, because again, they pair together quite well. Like the Julia Natsuko Tora match from Cinderella wasn't too bad. Generally, B has worked well with basically everyone in DDM apart from Shuri. So I'm not sure what it is. It's just something's breaks down when they have to work as a foursome or a sixsome or a sixsome. What do you call that?
Sex, isn't it a sextet? Why are you laughing at that? You are such a child.
No, it's not. It sounds like a girl band from the 50s.
The Sextets.
Yeah.
I gave it a 6. I thought this was decent. Plus, we had the added bonus of an actual finish in a Oedo Tai match, so they gets an extra star just for that.
I don't think we should give them star for what is expected from everyone else.
I will take everything I fucking get with this faction at the moment.
Do you mark your kids the same way?
That's why so many of them are A's. So let's finish off with the main event then of this show, which was again another 6-woman tag. The Queen's Quest team of Azumi, Momo Watanabe, and Utami defeating the Stars team of Mayu, Starlight Kid, and Saida at 17 minutes and 32 seconds with the Tequila Sunrise. And you know what? Sometimes matches are just fun to watch without any real hot takes or storyline progression, and this was one of them.
Yeah, it was like an old Ring of Honor main event where you just have 6 really good workers in there fight, and everyone's sort of paired off in a way. Like Utami and Mayu are going at it a lot because there's still heat from Mayu losing a title. Starlight and Azumi are perpetually together, and Momo needs someone to abuse, and Saira's there, so that happens.
Yeah,
a
agreed.
lot. And yeah, I can't complain about any of those pairings, especially Azumi and Starlight. I could watch them go for hours. Although I probably couldn't. I'd probably bitch about it. But I'm trying to.
It's gone too long.
Here. Don't get me started on long matches. I'm still angering people about Segura versus Go. But anyway, yeah, Queen's Quest and Stars are probably the best tag team pairing in Stardom right now in terms of like consistency and
just hold that thought ready for the next show, shall we? Just hold what you've just said in your head.
Right, but there's a very, very big discrepancy in the next show, but there's a very big reason for that. Well, actually about a 4'9" reason, which we'll fucking get to. But yeah, I just really enjoy. Like, I have nothing. It's one of those weird matches where I have nothing to say about it. It just kind of fucks, and you should just go out your way to watch it. You know what it's like? It's not as good, but like it's Zeus and Kenta Miyahara from Champions Carnival. Cunt.
I've been waiting all podcast for you to say his name.
So, because like in the case of that match, I have it's like my 16th or 17th favorite match of the year, but I have absolutely nothing to say about it. It just bangs, and it's sort of the same with like DDT tag matches. That's the case here, where like there's nothing deep, there's nothing, like it's not 5 layers down in the lore of wrestling or anything. You don't need to have been watching for years and years and years to get it. You're just sort of watching it, and it's fairly cool people doing fairly cool things, and you enjoy yourself.
Absolutely.
Like if this was a movie, it would be Kill Bill.
Yeah, it's a good comparison, to be fair. I love you now. You've actually watched some films and get lots of references.
Apart from when I watched Jurassic Park.
Well, I'll die on the hill that no one does a better desperation super kick than Mayu.
Oh, the way she sort of folds out of it.
Oh, it's great. Beautiful. It's so good.
I think Marufuji used to do the same thing, but the difference between that Mayu and Marufuji is Mayu is basically a Stretch Armstrong.
She's all legs.
So,
when she's like a cat, you know when you pick a cat up and it's like telescopic, and you're just like, what the fuck does this cat like? When I started picking this cat up, it was what the fuck, and then you're just holding it underneath its arms. It's like legs. Cats don't have arms. Legs.
I don't tend to pick cats up.
Are you not a cat person?
No, there's just no cats roaming around this house.
Okay, fair enough.
We're a family of dog people.
Fair enough then. Fair enough. But yeah, she just seems to extend, and she just sells so fucking well. It adds another dimension to this match. Another suplex off between her and Utami. I'm here for that. Absolutely here for that. And then we get the closing sequence, which I know we talked about how there isn't a lot to go on this match in storyline progression, but this was the one soul taker had. And that was that basically Momo hasn't exactly been booked especially well in the lead up to the title match in Osaka. And you get the impression that she knows it as well, and she's desperate to make an impression. And she does that by launching Sayarida into the fucking stratosphere with this Tequila Sunrise. I'm not joking. The height Sayarida gets on this fucking move is unreal, to the point where Momo can't bridge because Sayarida is halfway through the fucking crowd. She's launched her into the audience. It was brilliant. She put a little bit too much stank on it, which was great. Real proper, I've got to prove myself. I am going to finish this match, and I'm going to finish it now. Brilliant. Really, really good. And then in a promo, she sort of adds on to that by saying that she is on the rise. But overall, a really, really entertaining main event. I gave it high 7, Chris. I thought it was really, really good.
Yeah, I give it a high 7. I really enjoyed it. We are just like 6 people who are eternally going to work fairly well together.
Yeah. Absolutely. Right, let's move on then to the show in Toyama, which was from the 6th of December in front of 270 people in the Bolford Toyama Multi-Purpose Hall. Again, I'll just do the first match. Sai Kamatani defeated Mina Shirakawa in a singles match in 8 minutes and 12 seconds. Chris, did you watch it? Chris, did you care?
That sounds like I don't know. Anyway, yeah, this was fine. Again, I watched it and I didn't immediately go fuck off Shirakawa, which means she's learning. So.
Fair enough. Match 2 then saw the Cosmic Angels team of Tam Nakano and Unagi defeating the Stars team of Ruaka and Sayada in 11 minutes and 8 seconds with the Daifuhan Gatame, which is what they've christened Unagi's finishing move. In the pre-match promos, Tam talks a little bit more about Sayarida, makes further reference to poaching her by saying that they understand each other, which is almost instantly rebuffed by Ida saying that she has no idea what Tam is trying to do, which I thought was quite entertaining because neither do we, Saya. We haven't got a fucking clue.
It's like something from The Office, isn't it? With like Dwight and what's his name?
Michael Scott.
Where he just said, yeah, no, not the US Office I'm talking about.
Jim,
yes, there we go. Where like Dwight says something and when Jim just looks directly in the camera and says
just shakes his head.
Yeah, it's a bit like Stars is basically The Office right now.
Speaking of Saya, this is the first time I've noticed, but she is looking fucking jacked coming to the ring. Did you see the 6-pack she's got now?
Yeah.
Like, it's the first time she's shredded. I've got it in my notes. I've got it in my notes for this match. It's the first time I've noticed, but she's looking jacked as she comes to ringside.
Came from absolutely nowhere, didn't it?
It did. I didn't really notice it at all in the previous matches. But yeah, she's looking very, very, very shredded. So yeah, really, really good. Like I say.
It's like when you don't shave for a while and you don't notice how big your beard is and too big.
I mean, I can't. In my head, I can't imagine you've ever shaved.
I have, but me in black, actually. That was like 2 weeks after a clean shave.
Jesus Christ. Fucking hell. We talked about Sayarida evolving her offense, and this was a perfect example of that. We had her breaking out an Indian deathlock, which was fucking great. She hit a top rope blockbuster, which also looked incredible. Looked very, very tasty to take. Her early exchange with Tam are excellent. The action slows down with Ruaka and Unagi, as you'd expect, but I'm sure it will come for both women. I'm not going to be a negative about it. I'm just, it'll come. It'll come for both women. There's a great closing visual post-match of Tam and Unagi in the ring, extending a hand to Saya as she stood on the outside with Starlight and Mayu. I thought that was a great visual to end this match on, because as a match, there's not a lot to talk about, let's be perfectly honest. It's a match with Unagi and Ruaka in it. But as a visual, that final visual of, again, Tam trying to poach Sayarida, thought it was great.
Yeah, to be honest, I ended up having the volume down on this match and had Taylor Swift's album playing while it was on. So if there was any subtleties I missed, I'm sorry, but I basically just agree with Rob. And also, you should listen to Taylor Swift's new album. It's really good. It's really, really good. I can feel you hating me. I can feel it.
Hopefully everyone at home can as well.
Are you not a fan, are you? It's such a good album. It's so... Champagne Problems, one of my favourite songs of the year.
I gave this 6 stars, Chris. What did you give it?
Well, I gave Taylor Swift's album a 9, but this one, I'm going for like a 5-6.
Fair enough. Did you watch? So, third match on the card, B. Priestley and Micah went to our old favourite, a time limit draw in 15 minutes.
Did you see what I posted in the Discord? I actually have a little section on the whiteboard where it's like, it's been X number of podcasts since the last draw, and I just had to reset it today, and I was so disappointed.
Do you agree with the time limit draw finish here?
I guess it's been far enough removed to not feel like part of a systemic problem. And I guess both women are on equal pegging. Like, I guess Future and SWA are basically the same level. So yeah, I can't, like, from a booking standpoint, sure, it's only 15 minutes as well, and this match did kind of bang. Like, B was working stiffer than normal, which was good. Mike is doing less and less of the power stuff and just focusing on what she's good at, which is also good. Although, did you watch this?
I didn't watch this one, no.
Okay, so she was B was going to hit the Queen's Landing right as the thing went, the bell went off. So, and instead of actually just doing the Queen's Landing, which would have probably been A, better for storyline, and B, safer, she just dropped Mike. She just dropped her. And
I love that. That's amazing.
The match itself was fun. The highlight was a double stomp to the outside, which actually, this is the first match I noticed it, but the lighting was really weird on this show, wasn't it?
It was a bit strange, yeah. It seemed very cold.
Yeah, and the venue was weird. Like, you know what the venue looked like? You know what it reminded me of, oddly? Remember that WXW show we watched for Watch Along?
Yes! No, I get you.
It looked like that venue. It was weird, wasn't it? Because weren't we in the same... we were in the same town the next night. So it's super weird. Maybe we would just banking on getting the two shows at wherever they were yesterday, and it was double booked or something. Because I don't know, because Stardom, like, they don't have amazing production quality, but they're consistently, like, well lit. They're consistently, like, because even this place, it was echoey. It was weirdly sounded. It was all a bit weird. So, like, it sort of meant a lot of. I think it might have put some wrestlers off, to be honest. But yeah, this match was fine. I'd give it like a 7. Both women worked fairly well with each other, and it sort of shows how good Micah gets in a short amount of time, because God knows B isn't someone to carry someone. So
That much is true.
Yeah, because when she carried someone in this match, she just dropped them when the bell rang. I can't get out. Like, seriously, just go to this match and skip to the end because she literally just drops her, like, face first, and I'm like, damn.
Outstanding.
You should just do that for your finish because then Manami Teosa might not hate you.
Match 4 then. The DDM team of Julia, Syuri, and Himika defeated the Oedo team of Tora, Konami, the returning Konami, finally, and Saki Kashima at 15 minutes and 59 seconds with the Argentine backbreaker. Oh God, Chris, please don't make DDM the next Yano in shilling things. What the fuck was this opening promo?
Yeah, like, hey, album out now. Buy it.
It was either an album called Toyama Niari or it was the artist was called Toyama Niari. It was completely and utterly pointless. The only thing I can tell you from this entire promo is that it cost 1,500 yen. So if you are that way inclined...
1,500 yen? Hang on. 1,500 yen in pounds. That's £10.75.
Bargain. Go and check it out now at all good stores, apparently, according to Donald Almondo.
The arts are dying. Support them.
But why would you do this? I mean, these are 3 of your biggest stars in the company. Don't make them fucking shillers. You don't make Mayu do that.
Mayu would probably forget.
Oh my God, I cannot wait to talk about that in a minute. I'm so excited. Before you go on your rant about who you are going to rant about, let me just talk about that, and then you can rant till your heart's content.
Okay. Well, you mean on the last one? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember. So this match itself, it's sort of proves the same thing I had with DDM and Oedo the night before, where they work really well when paired off, but they don't work well when there's a lot of moving parts. For example, Konami and Syuri here, loved it. Like, just doing the Tomohiro Ishii Shibata thing where we just sit down and invite each other to kick them. Like, and it's not just that, they planted themselves. They
jumped 4 foot in the air to sit down, didn't they?
Yeah, they were throwing themselves like a toddler throwing a champion. It's like, kick me. I want this program so badly now, and I want them to do it under like weird MMA rules. I want there to be blood and a walk away knockout, and I'm probably just. That's probably never going to happen, but I want it.
If this is a singles match that we get at year-end climax, I am all the way down for that.
I want it to happen at a Josh Barnett's Bloodsport event.
That would be incredible. But
apart from that, there's nothing really to talk about in this match because a lot of the same players. Himika's doing that double Argentine backbreaker quite a lot, isn't she?
Yeah, I'm not a massive fan.
Yeah, because again, it's back to the Ryback comparison.
Yeah, if it's an impact move, it's something to shock. You know, it's the law of diminishing returns. The more you do it, the less impactful it is. And on that note, can I ask you, Chris, right? Why would you not disqualify Oedo straight away for the use of the chain? You've just told Tora off, who leading Himika back to the ring like a fucking cocker spaniel, like with the chain around her neck, who you've just watched her choke her. You've kicked the chain out of the ring. You know it's fucking happened. Just because it happens on the outside doesn't make it illegal. Why have you not DQ'd them for that? The consistency is absolutely all over the shop. That really wound me up. It's like, she's hanging her again. What are you doing?
It's quite a dark arena. It was quite a dark arena. Maybe the ref just didn't see it.
The ref was next to her. Whilst Himika is on all fours with the chain still round her neck, with the chain in Tora's hand, which she only let go of to shove the referee.
Maybe Tora bribed the referee, and then the referee decided to throw a bribe out the window when he got physically assaulted.
Even you don't believe that.
I believe some wild things for Rob Goodwin.
That's true. Again,
For example, I believe La La Land is a wonderful time.
Again, I believe Saki was fantastic. She transitioned a backbreaker into a pinfall, which was smooth as silk. And I genuinely thought as well that would be the finish. But obviously it's Himika who takes it with an Argentine backbreaker, like I said before. Overall, I thought this was really, really good. I thought, like we said before, the tease of the Konami and Syuri thing, I would be all up in that. I think that would be fantastic. And again, I think that would be a match on a year-end climax card. And I've got a couple of matches in mind that I would like to see on the year-end climax card, and we'll talk about that at the end of the podcast. But overall, added bonus of an Oedo Tai finish, which is great. And that tease alone, I think this gets 7 stars for me.
I'm feeling high 6 or 7, yeah. Mostly down to the Shuri and Konami segment.
Fair enough. So the main event of tonight was another 6-woman tag match with the Queen's Quest team of Azumi, Momo Watanabe, and Utami defeating Mayu, Starlight Kid, and Riho at 17 minutes and 38 seconds with the German suplex. This is the latest thing to add into the chronology of Mayu, because she completely forgot that she's ever wrestled in Toyama whilst calmly being put right by Starlight Kid. Just comes out and says, "This is my first time in Toyama." It isn't. No, it is. No, it's not. You've been to the same hotel before. Yeah, but the venue was like an hour away. No, it's still in the same city. It's just a different venue. But I've never been to Toyama before. We've been to a wrestling bar here, Mayu. Oh. Well, someone told me it was the first... And you just look at her and go, "How are you the face of this company, Mayu? You don't even know where you are."
Imagine if, because we went to 2 different Weatherspoons, but between our last 2 visits to Blackpool. Imagine if we just walked in and Garth was like, "Oh, I've never been to this
I've
city
never
before."
been to Blackpool before. No, you have. You've just been to a different Weatherspoons, Garth.
Imagine if you did that just because we were on different sides of the arena. I've never been in here before.
Just uses a different entrance to the same Weatherspoons. This looks different.
To be fair, I've done that before, where I've walked into a Weatherspoons on a different entrance from before. I was like, "Oh, I didn't know this is here." When I walk up with different entrance on my way out, it's like, "Oh."
But then on top of this, Azumi forgot where they were as well. Bearing in mind this is a sold-out crowd in Toyama, in front of 270 people. Azumi then repays them by going, "Where the fuck are we again?" Just utter nonsense. Utter nonsense. Chris, I know you've got things to say. You have the floor.
I'm so done with Riho. I know I sort of ranted about it last week, but she was a harmless fixture on the lower end of the card. She was semi-main and main for some of these shows, and just no, none of. She smiled throughout the whole fucking match, and I'm sorry, you're in the main event on a Stardom card where you have the chance to pin the World of Stardom champion, as well as what many people consider to be the greatest white belt champion ever, as well as the person who beat you for the high speed belt. So, the what fuck? Why are you smiling? Why aren't you showing any intensity? Her character's all over the place because she literally in storyline has given away 2 shots at World Championship to Def Yamasan. That's literally a thing that has happened, and I get she wasn't booked to win that match, but she'll have some agency in how the match would end, and I know she's not awful. I've seen her have good matches in AEW. Hell, the fact that she had a really good match with Nyla Rose earlier in the year, who, again, God knows isn't someone to carry, just shows that she does have potential. But why smile? Stop smiling. Stop fucking smiling. And she still doesn't hit with any sort of... when she kicks someone, I don't believe it at all. And I have that same problem with Starlight. But now Starlight is actually kicking with some oomph. She's actually hitting with some oomph. Riho isn't. And I just don't want her around anymore. She's went from being something I don't care about to something that's actively annoying me. Because just stop smiling. I know it just sounds like I don't like it when people are happy, but stop fucking smiling.
Wow. Okay. I mean, of everything that went wrong in this fucking match, that was literally bottom of the totem pole for me. Just everything that could have gone wrong in this fucking match went wrong in this match. Just everyone seemed off their game. I mean, you've got Starlight Kid just randomly stopping in the middle of an exchange with Azumi, apparently just completely forgetting where the fuck she was. You'd got Azumi falling off the ropes, which I think has legitimately hurt her knee, which is why she wasn't on the following card. You've got Mayu missing the Tiger Feint kick. You've got Momo whiffing kicks. It's just... It seemed far more house showy than any other match on these 3 cards thus far. And it felt very, very lackluster. And I don't know, I didn't enjoy it, which is, a first for a match containing Mayu. I don't know. I wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan at all, Chris.
It wasn't the best match ever. By that I mean basically everything Rob said is correct. Although, in their defense, May literally didn't know where she was.
That is true. That is true. She got absolutely no idea where she was at all.
Nor did Azumi. So, quite frankly, if you were suddenly teleported into, I don't know, the death zone from Doctor Who, you probably wouldn't be wrestling very well. You don't know how to wrestle to begin with, but
I gave it 4. I thought it was... Considering we just basically seen this match, I didn't need to see it again. And then I thought I'd rather see Sayarida than Rio. I didn't enjoy it. I gave it 4.
Yeah, I have nothing to say or add to that. Just skip this one. Just skip this whole card, to be honest. Maybe watch the Beavers Micah match, but just sort of skip the 28th. Is it the 28th?
No, it's the 6th.
No, it's the 6th. I'm stupid. Let's continue.
Let's move on then to our final show that we're going to be doing tonight. So the Stardom Road to Osaka Dream Cinderella on the 13th of December from Shinjuku Face in front of 234 people. Chris, did you watch the opener with Riho defeating Lady C and Ruaka in 4 minutes and 3 seconds?
Would you believe it if I said I didn't?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't believe it for a second. So let's...
Yeah, it's because I did, and I have nothing to say.
Fair enough.
Lady C continues to be really good for her experience, but
we've both said this before. Considering the fact that she is a complete rookie, she's got more of an attitude.
Single digit. Yeah, and but it's not just if she can actually develop, which is not always the case with some rookies. So, but if she continues her current course, she's probably going to be grand, yeah. Again, look where the Sayas were a year ago compared to where they are now, kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, let's move on then to match 2, which saw the Oedo Tai 4-way between Bea Priestley, Konami, Natsuko Tora, and Saki Kashima end in a 4-way countout, because of course it fucking did, at 6 minutes and 44 seconds. Chris...
You know what's weird with this match is that my biggest complaint is that there wasn't enough Oedo Tai bollocks in it. Because there was a place to throw all the Oedo Tai shit at the wall. It's an Oedo Tai 4-way. It's like if you went to see Metallica and we didn't play Enter Sandman.
None of that was my issue with it. Would you like to know my issue with it?
The fact that there's a count out in a 4-way?
Well, that...
what if 2 people go back into the ring? This is an elimination match. What would have happened?
Well, I mean, by the design of it, Saki should have won.
Explain.
Well, because... Oh, no, she didn't get back in. Doesn't matter. Ignore me. Anyway, that wasn't the issue. From a kayfabe standpoint, why the fuck would you hang a member of your own fucking stable?
Why would you hate a member of your own family? Lockdown does crazy things to people.
But seriously, Like, we talk about this contrived hanging spot. She's even doing it to members of her own fucking stable now. Why? Why?
She can't help herself.
But that's
She has a
bollocks,
problem.
Chris. That is utter fucking bollocks. Why on earth, in a throwaway four-way, on second on a card, why would you hang a member of your own stable? Why would you bury Bea Priestley in chairs and smash her in the torso with a chair? What the fuck does that achieve?
They should have put some sort of stipulation on this, like you win, you get you get an opportunity to face the champion or something, like something like, because you are right. Like, there's no point in them doing this thing, and like with that chain spot you mentioned, impactful moves with Himiko earlier. That chain spot should be a reason to want to murder Tora in like a kayfabe sense, but because she does it to everyone, you just can't take it personally.
It just makes no sense to me at all.
What's incredible? I ended up watching an Oz Academy match over the weekend because it was recommended in our Discord. So I was like, it's only like 20 minutes long, I'll put it on. There was a hanging spot in that, and it was fucking tense because like this is not an image you're used to seeing, and also like the girl was bloodied up, so like there was more imagery to it. But like, when Tora does it, no matter what the context is, I'm just like, oh, fuck off, Tora, because she's done it so often. Like, she has ruined, because like when the hanging thing first happened with Konami back at No People Gate, we were kind of into it. We were like, oh shit, this is going to end up in a blood feud, and it just kind of didn't. And I don't know, just drop the chain at this point. Like, it's not even something that you can take away for a while and then bring back. It's something that you can never bring back because you've just taken everything out of it, because no one is ever hurt from this chain. Everyone's always fine 10 seconds after it's done. Like, this level of killing a spot, this is something you'd expect from like TNA in 2010.
That blew my mind. That really did blow my mind. I couldn't get my head around it at all. It seemed like such a stupid thing to do to a member of your own team in a throwaway tag match. Fair enough doing it to people that you hate. Fair enough doing it to people that you are trying to weaken for a later match. But you are putting the Artist of Stardom championships on the line with the two people you've just assaulted with a chair and a chain. From any sort of standpoint, Chris, tell me how that makes sense.
Maybe you ought to tell the cult.
It's fucking stupid is what it is.
It could be worse. B could still be coming out to bring me the horizon.
Oh, that's another thing, right? How abrasive is Saki's music? It's fucking horrible.
I know. It's like when I attempt to do Goto's face.
Yeah, it was brutal. I was like, oh my god, stop. Aside from that, I genuinely quite enjoyed this match. Much as I've ranted about it, quite enjoyed it. It was just that thing really wound me up as we got towards the end. I gave it 6.
Everything. Fuck everything. But you know what? It was fine. I didn't write a rating down. I didn't feel enough in this match to bother rating it. It was a nice little way to waste 7 minutes. I've done worse things for 7 minutes. So, what do you mean? What could I possibly be talking about? Oh, you dirty bastard! This is a PG podcast. No,
I was just going to say, both of us have said the word cunt in this podcast.
Yeah, to be fair, I imagine like American viewers are like really shocked at how often we use the word cunt when, like, especially up here. It's just half the time when someone says cunt, it's a warning that a verb is about to happen.
It's used as a warm greeting to a friend, to be honest, in Stoke. All right, my cunt.
Yeah, like, cunt is such a versatile word. No one says this enough, but like, it can mean enemy, it can mean best friend.
Oh yeah.
It like. Sometimes we just put like id or ing at the end of things up here. Like, oh, I'm cunted means I'm really tired.
It's part of our vernacular.
Yes.
Anyway, match 3 then. Saw the Queen's Quest 3-way, which was originally supposed to be a Queen's Quest tag team match, but Azumi was out. They did mention an injury, which I do think she limped after she came off the ropes in that main event that we've just spoken about, so I think it might have been that. Nothing confirmed, obviously. But Momo Watanabe defeated Sayaka Mitani and Utami at 11 minutes and 41 seconds with the Peach Sunrise. We talked about, Chris, Utami dropping Julia on her head. What about Saya spiking herself forehead first whilst attempting to reverse a B driver? Was that more uncomfortable to watch? Because it was for me.
That was quite uncomfortable. It's weird because, like, we ended up getting on the subject in the Discord earlier. Was like, what was the worst botch of this series of shows? and I was like, oh, it must have been the Utami and Julia thing, but I hadn't seen this match yet. And then I forget who mentioned it, but someone mentioned it. I'm like, it can't be that bad. And then it got to this. I'm like, oh my god! It's like, you know, those botched Styles clashes from like between like 2015, basically for the like 2 or 3 years after he left TNA but hadn't went to WWE. Yeah. It was that kind of vibe, and we are so lucky that like we didn't have another Yoshitatsu situation here, because oh my god,
I don't think we appreciate. Yeah, I agree with you completely. I don't think we appreciate just how lucky she was, because if Momo had gone down, if there had been any sort of force with it, she could have done some serious damage. But as it transpired, she got up. I think she was a little bit woozy, but you know, she was tremendously coherent considering the fact that she just twatted herself on the mat. How there was no more damage done, I've got no idea. It was a really, really awkward and just really uncomfortable looking bump.
Yeah, I've walked into a shelf and not been able to do anything for days. That's a lie.
I quite enjoyed this match. I thought it started a bit slowly, but you've got the 2 dueling storylines, which I thought they did very well, considering, again, this was supposed to be a tag match. You've got sort of the overarching storyline of Momo versus Utami, but then you've got that undercurrent of every time Queen's Quest do something, Sayaka Mitani feels an inherent need to prove herself, and this match was no different. Like, Utami and Momo would just dismiss Saya entirely, just, you know, would completely ignore her, and she would have to interject herself into exchanges. And then progressively, as we got further into the match accelerated, and then we built to what was a very, very, very good closing, aside from that horrendous botch, a really good closing sequence that saw Momo win.
I put in my notes for this, Sayaka Mitani is like a kid who does a dance when his parents are arguing.
Just wants everyone to get along.
Yeah, it's like, just we start doing that, we're just there going, I don't know, what's the song that kids sing? What do the kids like nowadays?
Dance Monkey? I don't know, Baby Shark? I don't know.
Dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh.
Okay.
Thing is, I think I wouldn't hate that song if her voice wasn't so
overly produced.
Yeah, it's not even like overly produced, because she actually sounds like that. I looked it up. It's just, I don't know what it is about that voice. It's just, it sounds like she's singing through a fan.
What?
It doesn't actually sound like that at all.
No, it doesn't at all. Have you ever sang through a fan?
I used to do Darth Vader Dalek impressions. They're the best thing to do through the fan. But yeah, I don't know. It's a weird voice. We've gone off track, haven't we? Yeah, this match was really good, really fluid. We did the triple threat thing where they pair people off a while, and I'm not always mad on that, but at the end of the day, we have a story to tell, so it's a functional decision. I do get that. But considering, again, yeah, this would be changed, in a day's notice, probably. So, like, considering we threw that together so fast, impressive. So, fun stuff here.
I gave it a 7, Chris.
Yeah, I give it a 7. I might give it an 8 if Saya didn't almost get necked.
Horrible. We move on then. Another 6-woman tag with Mayu, Starlight Kid, and Saida defeating the Cosmic Angels. Cosmic Angels' first loss at 13 minutes and 43 seconds with the Kichan bomb. Now, this was fire. This was easily the best match of these 4 shows. Really, really enjoyable. There was a real heat, a real hatred, and a real sense of betrayal that just underpinned everything that especially Mayu, Starlight, Saya, and Tam did. Because to begin with, like, you've got Unagi trying to assert herself by trying to challenge Starlight, trying to make a name for herself. And then you got Starlight literally dismissing her. Fuck off, got no time for you whatsoever. And then starts on Tam Nakano. Tam does this, I think she did the double knees, and ended up landing on Starlight's throat. And you can see Starlight getting visibly pissed off with that and started adding a little bit to a move. She kicked her in the face during a kick out, and that was not by accident. And just everything that the Stars team did to Tam especially had an added layer of fuck you. And it was great. You've got Mayu's kicks, you've got Starlight's chops, Starlight's kicks, you've got Sayurida's machine gun chops in the corner where you can feel the proper hatred in every single one. And it's great. And Mina did a fantastic job of being someone trying to come to the aid of Tam and just being completely overwhelmed by the team of Mayu and Starlight. And genuinely, when we get to that inevitable singles match between Mayu and Tam, it is going to be incredible. And if it happens at year-end climax, which I think it will, dependent on the results coming out of Osaka, I'd say that is an early contender for match of the year, because I know that we start our matches of the year from year-end climax. I genuinely feel that if that match takes place then, it's going to be a match of the year contender, because the fire and the momentum coming off of this match, it's the match I'm most looking forward to in the Osaka show. And when you consider we've got a double title match and the red belt match between Utami and Momo, I am really pumped for this Stars match.
But they've managed to build a lot of heat in a very short amount of time, and most of the heat's basically coming from Tam suddenly decided to be a dick about everything.
Absolutely. Have you seen the Twitter exchanges between Mayu and Tam?
I don't do Twitter.
No, I know.
So,
there's some really, really good Twitter exchanges between the pair. And it adds another layer to the feud, which is great, about how Mayu feels betrayed by Tam's actions. Tam is just being cold, distant, and then you get the bits in the post-match promo, which we'll talk about once you've finished.
Actually, on that subject, the one thing I did see from Twitter, because it was posted in our Discord earlier, was May saying, because her and Ida are going to have a match soon. Everyone in stars, please be Ida second, because I will mercilessly throw the soul of May Otani into her. So, like, in so many words, your girl's turned.
Do you think it is by fluke that we are getting a Mayu versus Saya Ida singles match just before Osaka?
No. I think they know what. I think they're actually starting to piece together Star Wars. It's like the opposite of what happened with Disney Star Wars.
The actual Star Wars.
No, yeah, because they seem to start looking like they have a plan, and then it turned out they had nothing. Whereas here, they've started out with no plan and put together one.
Yeah, absolutely. Go on, carry on.
But the match itself, yeah, like every exchange between May and Tam is great. If it's anything like their fight, like just from where we seem to be going, the May and Tam match is basically going to be their 5-star match, but with more hatred. Which, like, yes, please, all the fuck of that. And this storyline's doing a great job of raising the rookies involved, so like Shiikawa, Unagi, and Saya.
Absolutely,
all of them are. They're mostly stepping up to the occasion. As we said earlier, Unagi's sort of struggling a bit, but she is being posted way the fuck above her station, and I think she knows it. So I think she'll eventually mold into whatever her role will be. Just Yeah, and there's so many little things like Cyrida, who's going to get her in the divorce, and Starlight Kid suddenly getting delusions of grandeur.
Yeah, she seems to be posted at the moment as Star's resident spokeswoman. She's the one that starts all the promos. She's the one that sort of leads them in what they're saying. Mayu seems to have taken very much a back seat. And
yeah, May's just sort of standing there in promos looking like my sister when I get control of the aux cable.
And Tam actually references that in the post-match promo.
Yeah, called it was mascot.
The Stars
wasn't it?
mascot. You are more than just the Stars mascot. Or you've proved that you're more than just the Stars mascot.
But then Mayu decided to cut a fucking pipe bomb.
Yeah, Mayu decides to cut the real shit into it.
Walks forward. So you want to be heel now? It's like, like those promos from like John Cena against Roman Reigns, where John Cena clearly just didn't give a fuck, so he just said whatever. That's what this was like. It's like all the breaking of the 4-4. It's like, you want to be heel now? That's what's happening here. It's like, okay. Like, it came out of nowhere, because that never happens, does it? But always like even like the Jungle Tora stuff from earlier in the year, Jungle was like all kayfabing the whole thing. But like here, he's just like suddenly using insider terms. It's like Vince Russo was drafted in to write her promo.
I must admit, I was down for the promo though. You could feel the realism in what she was saying. What do you think about all this? I mean, it seems to be stemming, all of this, from the fact that Mayu consistently picks Starlight ahead of Tam. That seems to be the genesis of Tam leaving.
I have a theory.
What is your theory?
I have a theory this storyline was pegged in from the beginning. This was going to be Arisa. Because this kind of thing was going on when Arisa first came in last year.
So Arisa will be taking the place of Starlight.
Yeah.
Right. That would make sense. That would make sense.
Because that's sort of what happened when Arisa first came in. That's why her and Tam fought. And then it would seem like a natural evolution of that storyline. So yeah. I have a feeling it's something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm talking completely out my ass, because I am. But it just feels like that's what it was meant to be. This is still good. I'm still digging this.
I was just going to say, it's not like they've shoehorned someone completely random in, because Mayu and Starlight do have that very, very close relationship.
Yeah, because they just tagged in Tag League as well.
Exactly.
And they tagged in the Tag League the year before, didn't they? And also, it's not like Starlight Kid hasn't been in the position of starting these promos. She's actually, before this, normally one who started the promo. So, like, it's not a mad insertion. It's just, it's just something I thought of while I was watching these promos. The biggest problem with this is the fact that Tam's surrounded by two people who take falls a lot.
Yes, I do see that, and obviously you look at Mina. She lost the singles match the night before, or the show before, to Saya Kamatani, which sort of shows you where she is on the totem pole. And then Unagi took the pinfall here to Starlight Kid, so shows where she is on the totem pole. So yes, it certainly. I don't think it damages the credibility. I think.
No, but I think Pat in storyline is sort of like Tam's picked rookie, so she's the clear leader kind of thing.
I think that, yes. Definitely that. But as well, I think she wants people around her who will always choose her. Always.
who also they need to have worked for TJPW in the past year.
Yeah, be rookies.
They need to be over 30. Yeah. They need to be about 5 inches taller. There's a lot of caveats to get into Tam's club.
Not that she has a type or anything, but I do think there's a reason for all of this. And honestly, like I say, it's the match that I am most looking forward to in the Osaka Dream card. I gave this match 8 stars. I loved all of the drama. It was easily the best match of the run of shows, Chris.
I'm feeling an 8 on this one, yeah. It was a very solid match. If you're going to watch just one show out of any of these, make it this one.
Oh, yeah, definitely. This match was enjoyable pretty much from the word go. Right up to the main event, which we're going to talk about now. Match 5, the DDM Civil War, with Syuri and Maika defeating Julia and Himeka at 19 minutes and 28 seconds. Syuri submitting Himeka with the Suzuka. Chris, what did you think about this match?
DDM, I think, are one of the best factions at Civil Wars, because they've had a surprising amount of matches against each other, considering they've not even been around for a year yet. Like, they all fought each other in the Cinderella, they fought each other in the 5-star, they've had a few tag matches against each other, so they just work really well together somehow.
It's a case of proving themselves against each other, isn't it?
Yeah, because that's the thing. When Stars and Queen's Quest have been infighting recently, it feels like we're about to fall apart. When DDM fight each other, it seems more of a mutual thing. It seems like, okay, cool, let's see who's best.
They really did bash you over the head with that as well, because you had the handshake at the start, you had the promo at the end, where it wasn't about, I'm going to win. You know, you had a little bit of that, obviously, it's a title match. But post-match, it was all about how we should be the main event. We are going to have the greatest match, aren't we? And then they fist bumped. There is the inherent sort of competitive nature with a title match that you're always going to get, but it wasn't a case of being overblown. They weren't confronting each other in the same way that Momo and Utami would be. So I do quite like that. It is a case of, right, let's prove ourselves against each other. You know, we know we're 4 of the strongest talents in Stardom. Let's prove it to everyone else. And I think that's an interesting dynamic as well. And it'll be interesting to see how they lay out that match on the 20th of December. Because in all honesty, I know that we hate time limit draws, but it's a double title match. I do see it being a time limit draw.
I don't even, again, the thought of a time limit draw on a title match is so alien to me in the year and a half now I've been watching Stardom, but I don't even know what the time limit for Stardom matches are. Is it 45 minutes? That feels about right. We ask
this every single podcast.
We never get an answer. We will keep asking it until one of you fuckers answer us.
What Chris is trying to say is, people in the Discord or on Twitter, would you please tell us what the time limit is for championships, please? Because he's just expressed it like an absolute fucking idiot.
Stop trying to censor me, God.
But yeah, do you think we'll have a clear winner in that match?
Yeah, I think Syuri isn't actually completely out of the realms of possibility, because, like you said, it looks like they want to move Julia to the red belt scene at some point. And also, I think this is the key one. Syuri has a win to get back over Julia from the Cinderella.
True, but you did talk about faction order. You know, establishing that clear order, and Syuri is the number 2 of DDM. The leader is Julia.
Yeah, but we did that last year when Momo faced B, and B still beat Momo. So,
yeah, true. On that bigger stage, though,
why ever not? If you want to establish someone like Syuri, and also I don't know who you'd have going after Julia now. Everyone else is kind of tied up right now, aren't they? Or at least everyone else you'd have going for the title at End Year Climax.
Yeah, because you do need a challenger at the year-end climax. It's, one of the biggest shows of the year, so you are going to have most, if not all, of the titles on the line. So,
yeah, and when you look at Mayu and Tam, they're tied up with each other. Queen's Quest is sort of tied up in this little civil war. Oedo Tai should not be anywhere near any of these top belts right now. So, who sort of left? Because DDM's also all faced each other as well. So,
okay, well,
maybe Konami, but we've had that. So if you want Konami, I think the best way to do it is have Syuri take the belt and then somehow get Konami in there and have a pin in a tag match or something.
Again, though, I mean, let's face it, the match that her and Julia had at Sendai Cinderella was divisive, to say the least.
No, that's why I'm saying Shuri should win, so we don't need to watch that
I know,
match.
but what I'm saying is you've just had Konami Challenge literally last month. Do you really want to have that again when there are other challenges?
Yeah, fuck it. Bring in Jun Akiyama. I want to see Jun Akiyama take on
Makes
Julia.
perfect sense. I feel like we've danced around this match. Basically, it's another sort of tick against DDM being booked as 4 of the strongest women in this company. Like, all 4 women felt like bona fide superstars. And when you consider that Maika and Himika have, compared to Syuri, certainly, very limited experience, they all come across as absolute superstars. All of their interactions were great. The power moves were impactful. They knew each other's games inside and out. And Himika submitted to Syuri here. You know, Himika had an absolutely amazing 5-star. Does she look any worse coming out of this match having been the one that submitted? Despite the fact that you had Maika in this match? No, not even slightly. And that pays testament to the booking of this faction. It is a really, really good match. It's one of those matches that we've spoken about quite a few times throughout the course of this episode. It's a match where there isn't a great deal to say in ring. It is just a very, very good match. I'd say it's probably the second best match of this run of 4 shows behind the match that we've just talked about, the Stars match. Go and check it out. It really is a very, very good match. And again, don't forget, Chris, you've had Syuri now take a lot of victories in the lead up to Osaka. I mean, we've got the Korakuen show, which, as we record on the 15th, is tomorrow, where you've got that final prelude match. So I suppose a lot will be determined by whoever eats the pin and takes the pin. If Syuri takes another pinfall win, you've got to assume that Julia is winning it.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. It's more just a pipe dream because honestly, I don't know. Just looking at who's all tied up, I don't know who's gonna be about and be credible enough. Because like, whoever like wins the red belt match could possibly go over because of they've been Queen's Quest and DDM's been paired off a fair bit, but also both of them would be coming off a title loss, so like neither of them are going to be especially credible. I don't know. We'll talk about that when we talk about Osaka.
Okay. Well, let's get into that. I mean, I gave the main event an 8 stars. I think it was a low 8. I think it was quite as good as a Stars match, but an 8 stars nonetheless.
Yeah, I'm feeling decent about that one.
So let's talk about Osaka Dream then. So last podcast, we previewed the card and we gave our predictions. Chris, we are 1 show away from that. How are you feeling about the card? Are you dead set on any certain winners? And most importantly, perhaps, who do you have coming out of that main event with the title?
I had the card in front of me and I've lost it. Can you remind me of the card, please?
Remind you of the card. Okay. I haven't got the entire card because I thought you'd remember it, if I'm being perfectly honest. So we've got the Future of Stardom Championship, and that is the triple threat between Maika. Maika, Saya Kamatani, and Saya Ida.
Maika. Wait, no, not Maika. Wait, yeah.
It was Maika. What am I talking about? Who do you think is coming out of that one with the victory? Is there anything you want to add?
Again, this seems like I've never seen Future of Stardom title defended this fucking much. Like, this seems like another token one. I would keep it on Maika if you want to keep that. Keep the token on her because right now, Saya has the tag belt as her token belt, and then I don't think Ida's really in the place where she needs a belt to remind everyone that she's being pushed. So I think that's just being kept on Maika.
Okay. Do you want me to go through all of the matches or simply the title matches?
Just the important ones. Whatever you deem important.
I'll just go through all of the cards. You don't have to give me predictions. I'll just ask for predictions regarding the title matches. So we've got that opening. We've then got Natsukatora and Konami versus Ruaka and Riho. We don't need to talk about that. Bea Priestley and Saki Kashima taking on Natsupoi and Himika. Again, we don't need to talk about that. It's a throwaway tag. We've then got the High Speed Championship match between Azumi and Mei Hoshizuki from Marvelous. Do we both think Azumi here?
Yeah, although I would love to see that surprise win, because I've been delving into one of the lovely guys in our Discord sent us a wee playlist of her best matches, because to be fair, I did ask for it a couple of podcasts back, and I was watching some of them. So good. Drop kicks for days. Drop kicks for fucking days.
Yeah, thank you, Velkic. She is tremendous. I think you did mention last podcast about the potential shock and then winning it back at an Assemble show. That could happen. I mean, we've got wrestlers wrestling in different promotions. I mean, you've got Starlight Kid doing singles matches in Diana.
Yeah, and is it in the top? But no, that's a poor taste joke. I'm
yeah, you are.
Don't. But yeah, like if you're gonna do that kind of thing with any belt, the high speed belt is probably the best one to do it with. You don't want your white belt or your red belt off of TV for a few months. You're not New Japan, so who literally have had any chance to dish. Anyway, I'm that bitch. So yeah, I honestly still think that's a pretty good. I honestly think that's the best way to do it, because I think maybe at that point have the shock win, have Natsupoi take it off her, and then that will set up the Azumi Natsupoi match.
We've then got the 6-woman tag, the Future of Stars match, with Mayu, Starlight, and Gokuken Death versus the Cosmic Angels. Where do you I imagine we're going to find out a little bit more about the stipulations of this match, what it actually entails for this group.
War games.
Which would be incredible. I would love to see that. Everything that this match entails, I imagine we're going to see in the Korakuen show on the 16th, leading up to this show. What do you think? You've had a few more matches to have a look at sort of the lay of the land in terms of these two teams. What do you think we are going to see? Do you think Stars are going to dissolve? Do you simply think that Tam, Mina, and Unagi are just going to split off and create their own faction? I mean, they seem to be that at the moment anyway. So do you see Tam calling Mayu's bluff and saying, right, okay, if you think you and Starlight are so strong, put the Future of Stars on the line?
I am still not sure of the storyline where the fuck is going.
I don't know where we're going to end. That's the thing. They've added more layers, with the whole Saida thing. Are we just going to split into two factions? Because at the moment, it seems like, I say, they're already a different faction.
And I honestly think making that official is the best thing, because with the amount of signings Stardom's been making recently, you have a few people just defaulting into Stars and then just doing nothing. So I think this is the best thing you can really do with that. Also, you don't have a good heel faction roaming around, so we need a good heel faction roaming around. So that would be quite nice. Honestly, I think where it's going to end though is a no ropes barbed wire exploding light tube death match.
Well, you have got Gokuken Death in there. It would make sense.
Yeah, I want this now. I mostly want it because the whole time we were doing classics on our podcast, I never got you to watch a death match, and I really want, because you squirmed at Omega versus Moxley, so I kind of want to see what would happen when you watch like a really over the top death match.
No, I didn't squirm at it. I just thought it was stupid.
I mean, it was stupid, but I loved it.
The final two title matches then, we've talked a little bit about Julia versus Syuri, so we won't spend too much time on that. I am torn. I knew you were going to sing that, Elaine Bruley. If this was if this angle was to combine the two titles and get rid of the SWA title, I would say Julia. I mean, Syuri does open up more challenges. Julia has run through a significant portion of your upper level talent. So if Julia does beat Syuri, who is then left to challenge Julia? You know, credibility wise.
Junaki
I knew you
Yama.
were going to say that.
Because I want it to happen. I'm going to do that in Fire Pro once we finish here.
So then does Syuri win? I don't know. I don't see Syuri winning this, and I don't know why.
To be fair, I think there's still part of me that doesn't think Syuri's going to win anything, because part of me still thinks she's a freelancer when she's just not. So I'm feeling the same way going into this as I did Utami versus May, except with a hindsight of Utami versus May.
That anything can happen.
I think that's the thing, because I was going in thinking, well, Utami could beat May happen, and then she did. So this could go literally either way. I don't know who you're going to book to face Julia. Like, has anyone pinned Julia recently?
Konami.
Oh.
And that was back in the 5-star. I don't think Julia's been pinned since.
Yeah, so like there's no one waiting in the wings.
Saki.
Really, is there? Saki. Fine. Saki's a decent filler defense, and she's been carrying a red tie on her back. So
I don't think she's year-end climax, though.
I mean, like, Konami was, and I get Konami's higher than Saki was now in terms of, like, perception, but in terms of, like, stature, she's second in in one of the factions. So in terms of sheer stature, it's there, and it sounds like year-end climax is going to be a big show anyway. So honestly, I think having such a big match, like for example, you think back to year-end climax last year, where Hazuki's retirement match got weirdly lost in the shuffle because of what was surrounding it.
Yeah.
So I think honestly, with like going into that show, your big talking points are going to be the red belt main event and Tam and May. Those are going to be your big things. So I think having a balls to the wall white belt match is just going to be pointless because it's going to get lost. So I think having a further defense with a white belt on that, and then giving a really good defense of a white belt on, say, the anniversary show in January, I think that's a decent enough way to do it. Because then, like, you can create a more interesting challenger for Julia for the bigger circumstance.
Main event then, red belt match between Utami the champion and the challenger Momo Watanabe. Chris, tell me who you think is going to win. Utami, Momo, who do you think wins?
Us as fans win. I'm trying to think. It's funny because I was trying to remember who won in their 5-star match to see who needs to win, but it was a draw, wasn't it? So that was an ultimately pointless Google search. I remember that match being quite good, actually. Well, of course it was. Do you think we're going to go longer than 20 minutes just because we went to a time limit, or do you think it's going to be shorter? I'm avoiding your question because I genuinely do not know.
I think they go longer than 20. I think they go 22.
Yeah. 20 minutes and 1 second. Okay, so I'm in two minds here. For one, having no defenses in your first title reign isn't the worst. Like, look at, say, Jay White, where he won the belt, lost it in his first defense, but it doesn't matter because now perpetually when Jay White's in the world title match, it's possible that he can win it. So I think doing that with Utami isn't the worst thing in the world, because quite frankly, there's no shame for how long she's been wrestling. There's no shame for winning the title and then losing in your first defense, because she's gonna have plenty of time to win it back. But at the same time, if you were going to have Momo win it here anyway, why wouldn't you just have May hold on to it for another month and give it to Momo? It's all a bit. Because honestly, I think the original plan was that I think Momo was going to pin Mayu at the Yokohama show, but it was originally planned, and then this would be the end goal. But so I think we're just trying to get there in a weird roundabout way. I genuinely do not know. Because I'm trying to think what interesting programs there would be for Utami. I get like whoever she faces, it would probably be really good. She's like a genuine talent. But whether you, like, I don't know. I think I'd prefer a Momo win just because we've come off the back of such a long reign, and then it was a fairly long reign from B before that. It was like, what, 6 months? So I think having a short transitional reign would be something that, like, just for the sake of something different, like that. I think that's a good thing to do. So if I was booking it, I'd probably go Momo. But like, you never know with Stardom. You literally never know with Stardom. Like B Priestley winning the title last year, I don't think anyone would have saw that coming. So.
Fair enough. And next time we come to you, ladies and gentlemen, we will, of course, be reviewing the Osaka Dream Cinderella show. I will just say they have said that this show will be on pay-per-view for Japanese audiences only, so thanks for that. And it won't be uploaded to Stardom World until they have finished uploading the show from the previous day, the 19th. So we've put down that it's going to be the 23rd that we release our Osaka Dream Cinderella show. It's going to be a case of whenever it is uploaded. Obviously, we've got the Christmas period and everything. It might be after, who knows. We will get it out as soon as is humanly possible, basically.
Yeah, and to be fair, imagine, like, we're definitely not going to record it Christmas Day. We have boundaries, but imagine just sitting there having Christmas dinner over Zoom because the world's falling apart. And then it's just like, sorry, I need to go. I have a podcast.
I have a podcast about Japanese women's wrestling. Yeah, my parents would love that.
No, every time it's actually really funny because I was talking to this girl on dinner and she was like, she was like, I'm thinking of starting a podcast. I'm like, oh, cool, I actually do one. And she's like, oh, what do you do it on? I'm like, do I give her the specific area or do I just say wrestling? Because if I said Japanese women's wrestling, I'm pretty sure she would never talk to me again. Like, that's something you save until you show. Like, to be fair, I'm crazy to begin with, but that's something you don't reveal straight away.
Let's end with a couple of questions then, Chris. Just 2 questions for you, quick fire. So the first one is from Pete Davis on Twitter. He's just put, I think Starlight Kid has taken it to another level in the ring. She's always been quite confident talking to, etc. So what do you think her ceiling is?
I don't know, because I'm trying to think if there's been masked wrestlers, like, not from Mexico in Stardom before. She's too young to really know straight away, but I think at the very least she's a contender.
Yeah.
Like, at the very, very least. And then time will tell if she's someone who we can trust with the belt. For the most part, I think Stardom will trust any lifers with the belt, and Starlight definitely seems one of those people. So it's a bit of a cop-out answer, I guess, but like, time will tell. But as it stands, she's definitely a contender. I think at some point next year, I wouldn't be surprised if she got a belt run. At least in the next 2 years, definitely she's going to get a shot at one of the big belts. I think.
I see her absolutely as a tag champ, and I think I've said before that I see her and Mayu as future tag champs in the next couple of months. I see her as a future Wonder of Stardom champion, a white belt champion. I think she could hold that belt really well. At the moment, I don't see her as a red belt champion. I think she could have matches for that red belt, and I think that they would be good matches. I just don't think that she would hold the red belt. I might be completely wrong, and you know what? I hope I am, and I hope she has a great reign, but at the moment, I see her as a good white belt champion, but I don't see her as a red belt champion, basically. And then our final question is from @RandySally on Twitter. I've probably butchered that. I apologise. My pronunciation is terrible. And they've put, New Japan sold 3,500 tickets in Budokan last Friday. What are your expectations for Stardom? So I'll go first on this, Chris. Obviously, it's difficult with COVID. You know, I'm going to preface everything we say on this question with it's difficult to say because of COVID. And obviously, we didn't draw tremendously well in Sendai. However, this is Tokyo. It's a market that Stardom are very familiar in, are very popular in. I don't think they will be aiming for 3,500 tickets. I don't think they would sell that, especially at the moment. I think if they can draw 2,000 tickets, something around that, they would consider that a success. Anything from 2,000 up to maybe 2,300, they would consider that a success. Anything below that, it depends as well on how many tickets they actually allocate, because they have different staging setups and all sorts. New Japan know that they are going to sell a lot of tickets to Budokan. Stardom, this is the first time they've ran Budokan. So if you're looking at it as pure numbers and not taking anything else into account, I would argue between 2,000 and 2,200, 300. If you look at it with, this is the first time that they've ran Budokan, how many tickets are they going to release? How ambitious are they going to be? What card are they going to put on? You're going to get a banger red belt defense. You're going to get a banger white belt defense. But then you've got your guest slots. You've got your special singles matches. Chris, you've talked about Kairi Sane, or Kairi Hojo, who, it probably isn't going to happen. But, you bring her in as a special singles, as an exhibition match. That's another big draw. Her return to Stardom. That's a massive draw. So I would argue if Stardom managed to draw around 2,200 to Budokan, which is significantly bigger than when they sold out Korakuen, obviously, I think that is a good starting point. And that's assuming that, COVID restrictions haven't been lifted by then. That's assuming that things haven't changed in Japan by then. March is a long time away. So we'll wait and see. I'm sorry if that's a vague answer, but that's sort of my inner monologue on the situation. Chris?
I'm looking at, because this was originally going to be there. I think the original rumor was this was going to be Sumo Hall, and it sort of moved to Budokan because we need a bigger venue to accommodate what they would have had in Sumo Hall. So in terms of similar sizes, I don't actually know what the numbers are in Japan, but in terms of companies that aren't New Japan running Sumo Hall recently, it was Noah and DDT last year, and they drew around 5,000. So I don't think Stardom would have been quite expecting that because these shows were absolutely fucking loaded. I mean, Kenny Omega was on the DDT show. So I think around the number you gave is about what we can expect. I think double a Korakuen show and Stardom will be happy. You think?
Yeah. So they have to pull out. I mean, it goes without saying that they have to pull out the card of a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they will.
To be honest, yeah. And they'll do the best with what they can get, because obviously, we don't know how many outsiders they'll be able to bring in just because of them being stuck in different countries. Apparently, I've forgotten the name now, but they're planning on. Hang on, I'm going to look up her name. Entertain the masses while I look up.
I don't know what you're talking about, to be perfectly honest, mate.
It's a former champion, and she shot on people, and it was a time. Hang on, it is Yoshiko.
Okay.
I think. I'm trying to scroll up the Discord because we were talking about her the other night, and she's. Have you heard about Stardom shoot?
I have, yes, and I've seen it.
It's horrific, isn't it? It's her, the blonde girl who did the shooting. She's rumored to be coming back for that. So they are pulling out people. So they're gonna. But the eternal question right now is because in reality this is in March, isn't it, or February? It's not for a while. March. So they have so many months to build this. And I get we talk about someone like Wrestle Kingdom back far out, mostly because of the G1. In reality, we look how much Stardom changed between just January and March this year before lockdown. and then factor that into the fact that that's longer away, that time span. So we genuinely do not know what they're going to pull out. I think we're going to draw respectably. Like, we've ran Sumo Hall before, I believe. So like they're not alien to running such big events, and they've pulled respectable numbers for ages now. Like they've been outdrawing in Korakuen Hall people like All Japan, who like have some really big stars there. So honestly, I don't think it's going to be if it's like same restrictions as we have now. I don't think it's going to be 3,300 because New Japan are going to draw bonkers amounts. It's like comparing WWE running a venue to, say, Ring of Honor running a venue. So I think it's going to be respectable numbers. It's not going to be New Japan numbers. I think we'd be insane to think it would be New Japan numbers, because you look at when DDT ran a big venue like that, they threw absolutely everything at the show, and it was 6 hours long. And for fuck's sake, but same with Noah. Like they brought in like Muta. They had their biggest feud headline it, and then they had something crazy like Taniguchi and Vegeta in the undercard. So I think the best point comparison we can really draw with that is maybe because Noah's running Budokan in February. So I think once we see those numbers, we can kind of know what to expect from the Stardom attendance.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Also, they can't be any worse than what Noah's doing for their Budokan show, because they're bringing out fucking Keiji Muto. I'm still mad about it. I'm still fucking mad about it. Of all the people to do it, your big return to Budokan, fucking Keiji Muto. Fuck off. Also, you said that was our last question, but there's a question here from a lad in the Discord, a very handsome lad, I might add, called Chris0401, and he's asked, what do you think of the new Taylor Swift album, and do you think it's topped her previous effort with Folklore?
So we'll stop the podcast there, ladies and gentlemen. I think we've gone on long enough on what were effectively Road 2 shows. Like I said before, we will be back to review Osaka Dream Cinderella. It's just dependent on A, when Stardom actually upload it, and B, the Christmas period. So we will keep you informed via Discord and via Twitter, so please keep your eyes out there. Our Stardom Cast end of year awards will be out as soon as the Osaka Dream show is in the can and we've seen it, so that we can add some matches to our ballot and the show to the ballot if it's an absolute belter, which in theory it should be. So please keep your eye out for that. Keep to Twitter and Discord for any updates regarding that. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. You can, of course, subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review and a comment. It really does help the podcast out. Check out the website, www.podmania.co.uk, where you can check out all of our archived podcast episodes, as well as all of our match ratings and the like. You can find us on Twitter at @TheStardomCast. You can talk to me on Twitter at @RealRobGoodwin. Chris, he says, with fucking hesitancy.
You can't find me on Twitter. I am on there, but I don't use it because I don't like conversations. You can only have if you want to talk to me, join our Discord. It's a nice Discord, but no one's an asshole, and that's very rare in wrestling spaces. So join our Discord as long as you're not an asshole. But I'm pretty sure you're not an asshole.
Yeah, it's a great advocacy for our Discord. Our Discord's great. Come and join us. But yeah, thank you so much for listening, guys, and we will talk to you guys again soon.